Hello, hello. Welcome to the Conqueror's Guide to China, How to Conquer the Holy Roman Empire. I am U60CF, also known as Defender, your resident China main, and I decided to make this video because I know that China versus HRE is one of the hardest matchups for us China mains. I think the go-to strategy for a lot of China players versus HRE is to just Barbican Rush. And me, I hate Barbican rushing. I never do it myself. I always hate it when it's done to me. I would be perfectly fine if Barbican rushing completely disappeared out of strategy. And I don't want the China versus HRE matchup to be revolve around the Barbican rushing. But it sometimes feel like you have to Barbican rush HRE because HRE is the most boomy civ. You can't let HRE boom uncontested. They will out-boom you. So I've developed my own playstyle way to play where you can still boom as China on 2TC Song while fighting HRE and making sure that you can contest the relics and prevent them from just booming freely and going up to Swabby and then just drowning you in a flood of men-at-arms. And so this video is to showcase my specific approach to the HRE matchup. Now, I'm gonna skip over some of the opening here. The opening is my normal 2TC Song build, which you guys can see in my previous video. So be sure to check that out if you haven't seen that yet. I think it's a great video, and I think it's a great build, and it's usable in a lot of matchups. But this is a ladder game. You can see that it's me as China versus Katakuri on the HRE. This is a Conqueror level game. Katakuri, as you can see here, he's like a Conqueror / High Diamond. Like he was Conqueror 3 last season. When I played this game, he was in Conqueror 1, though it seems right now he's in Diamond 3. But yeah, he's definitely a skilled player, like within like the top 600, I'd say. So I think this game can be pretty applicable to a lot of players on the ladder. So yeah. Let's go back to the game. This was played on Mongolian Heights. I believe I played it last Saturday, possibly? Something like that. So it's a recent game. It's on the latest patch. So let's dive into the game. So, as I said, we are going to go for the normal 2TC Song build. Rally on the berries. You can see here the one deviation I make is I do build a second scout because, as I said in my first video, this is Mongolian Heights. There are a ton of sheep on this map, and so building that second scout is pretty damn good. Again, we're gonna speed through a lot of this beginning. Again, if you guys want to see what this opening build is, just go watch my first video. I explain everything there. And yeah, we're just gonna speed through this. Again, collecting sheep. He's collecting sheep as well. Come on, the HRE. Where's his food mining? What? Oh, he does have villagers mining food here. Okay. Yep, dropping the sheep off, going to gold. Yada yada yada. Go check out the first video if you want to see the details. Dark Age Stone, again. Go check out the first video if you want to see details. And yeah. Oh, one thing I do want to note, if you did see the first video, in that video, I went 9 on food, 2 on wood. In this video, I went 7 on food, 4 on wood, and then I pulled the wood villagers onto gold instead of food villagers. Just because I thought the gold was slightly closer to this wood line than the food, but you can see it's pretty far away. But you can slow down the video and you can see how I do that in that slight variation. Imperial Academy, yada yada yada. Scout fighting. Do, 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 do. yeah, second town center, we're just waiting on some of the wood. Again, we pull off wood, send it on to food. We want to get up that Barbican quickly. Oh, you can see here, he built some early horsemen, so I just react. I build a stable. Not a big issue. Like, each horseman he builds does delay his castle, which is pretty good for us. So don't panic, we do chrono out the spearmen with our Imperial official. We're also garrisoning TC to rise, and now, see, once we've done that, like, we can drive those away. We're gonna put 6 on gold now because I do want to mine a bit more gold, like faster than normal, in order to get that Barbican up. And we're also gonna stop building spearmen because I don't know if he's still building horsemen. And if we build too many spearmen, our Barbican's gonna be delayed. Okay, so here's the first deviation. You've noticed that I've sent a villager to wall this off. This is because I want to deny these relics. Now this is Mongolian Heights, it has 6 relics, 3 on each side. So this wall here, I notice, will deny both these relics at once, and it's worth it. In a more normal map, with this build, you only need to deny 2 relics, not 3. You can let the HRE have 3 relics with this build. And I'll explain why in a bit. But here, I see the opportunity to deny 3 relics, so I might as well. But if I was just denying this too, I would literally just wall off this relic here. Like, just build a box around it with a villager. If you want to do this early enough, you can see this timing around like the 8-minute mark. This stack's a little slow, and I can afford to be slow because I know his castle age is slow. Because, like, he just started it. Because it's been delayed by these horsemen it's built. But I would say if he hasn't built any horsemen and he's gone straight to castle, I would send this villager out like around 6 minutes, honestly. Not 6, 7 minutes. So a minute earlier than you can see I did here. And, you know, just one wall. Like, you can see you probably have enough wood for it. If you've kept enough on wood, yeah. So, again, we're going through here. Again, he comes in here, we run back. Comes in here. We defend with our spears. We have our IO on food. And we almost, you can see I put 8 on gold because we were pushed off gold. So, you can see he's hit castle. And then meanwhile, we've just got enough gold to get the Barbican up. So, here is something in particular that I'm actually going to show a second game with this. But, in the most normal build of this, version of this build, we would get the Barbican up before he hits castle. We didn't this time, and luckily we weren't punished for it. But, ideally you want to get Barbican up right before they hit castle. And now you can see where I put this Barbican. If you watched my first video, you know I talked about the Barbican, putting the Barbican on the boar so you can take the boar with your villagers. And you can see that's what I've done here. The Barbican's covering this boar, this sacred site, and most importantly, this relic. That's what's important about this build. You always want to build your Barbican on a relic with this build because it will deny it. And so you can see, with this Barbican and this wall, we basically denied 3 relics from the HRE. They can only get 3 relics, and that's exactly what this build needs. So, you can take this one. We're about to take the boar as well with this Barbican. Okay, we're about to do it now. Alright, so this is the important part. He's already hit castle. Now, you have to ask yourself, what do most HRE players do when they hit castle? They build knights. Like, there's a lot more variance at the pro level, but at the very least, on the ladder, even in Conqueror, the HRE players will build knights. So that's why a key part of this build is to throw down a second barracks and start spamming spearmen. It sounds really weird, I know. Spearmen feel like such trash units. But I'm telling you, it works. So like what we're doing is we're going to start spamming spearmen. The other part that I will be starting in a little bit is I'm going to start walling off your base. Because, and this is what a lot of you guys should do, especially because even I don't have that good reaction time to stop knights and horsemen running into my base. Like, I don't have that good reaction and multitasking. So, one key part of this build is to wall off your own base. And there's a pretty important reason for that I'm about to get into. You can see here he's running knights in. We are defending with our spearmen. We are multitasking. These villagers got misclicked over here, which is unfortunate. Oh, but yeah, you can see here that I've started to wall off the base. You don't need to pull this many villagers here. I pulled these gold, all my gold villagers because I knew we weren't going to need to mine gold because we were building a bunch of spearmen. But you don't need to pull this many villagers to build a wall. And you know, now we're just chasing around. Okay, so one question you may be asking at this point is, but Defender, what if the HRE player just goes for knights? What if they drop Burgrave? Well, one thing, this build does sort of assume that HRE players that they're just gonna blindly go for the Regnits, at least versus China, and especially if they scout that you're on 2 TC Song, because the HRE players thinks that they can outgrade you with the Regnits. I literally, since like the last patch, I literally have not ran into a single Burgrave HRE. But what to do if you scout the Burgrave? Then obviously you don't really want to build spears. Instead, what you do is you literally pull nearly all your villagers onto food. Like I would leave like 6 on gold, like maybe 5 at most on wood, and then every other villager goes onto food. If you see that they went Burgrave, and also I would wall off the base. Just like you do against these knights, you would also wall off the base if you see them go Burgrave. So by putting so many on food and by walling off the base, you should buy yourself enough time to get up the castle and get crossbows out. Make sure you have enough wood to instantly throw down archery ranges. Make sure you have a secure food source and a secure gold source so it can continuously print crossbows. And like put Imperial officials on those crossbows. You need as many crossbows as fast as possible. But it's doable. Like I said, I haven't ran into a Burgrave HRE since the patch. So a lot of this is just theory crafting, but at least before patch, when I did run into HRE Burgraves, I would do that. I would put basically everything on food and pump out as many crossbows as possible, and it would work most of the time. But alright, let's keep on going to replay. Okay, now that we've fully walled off, you can see something very important. I am going to be aggressive with my spears. Like you can see now, my scouts are already across the map, and now I'm sending my spears across the map. This is crucial. This is also why walling off your base is so important. Because once your base is secure from knights, and you can see here that I let this knight through, a little bit my bad. And also a knight gets on top of these villagers. I think I lose 1 villager maybe? Okay. Oh, no, along walling your base, get textiles and make your base that much more resilient to raids. So you can see I do mess up a bit. Because of that, I pull these spears back. I honestly shouldn't have, because you can see the villagers actually dealt with this fine. But as soon as my base is secure, you send spears forward. You want to harass the HRE gold, the HRE, and the HRE food. The woodline juice is a bit too protected for spears to attack, but you want to get the spears to be aggressive. And that's because you want to delay the HRE from going onto Swabia. Because here's how the math works out. As long as the HRE doesn't have Swabia, and as long as the HRE only has 3 relics, 2 TC Song China will outboom them. Like, let's go villager count. I got 66 villagers. He's got 48. That's not a big difference right now, but it's going to grow very quickly. So, with this build, you want to delay Swabia as long as possible. And that means being aggressive with your spears. And I'm about to tell you the goal. The goal of this is to force him to build a unit other than knights. Whether it's men-at-arms, whether it's archers, whether it's landsknechts, you want to force him to tech switch before Imperial. Now this is hard to do. Like, you have to be very good with your spear timings, and I've had plenty of games where I'm not aggressive enough with my spears, and then it just ends up going, like, the HRE ends up hitting Imperial. Look, you can still recover. That's not the end of the game. The point is you want to delay HRE Imperial, HRE Swabia as long as possible. And you can see, I've done it in this game. Like, my opponent has decided to build barracks for men-at-arms. And this is amazing for me. Because men-at-arms cost a lot of food. And so each man at arms that he builds is a aggressive, is a defensive, is a delayed Swabia. The other thing you see, because I've been so aggressive with these spears, his men at arms have to defend. They can't run across the map to attack my own base, my own economy, and that's bought me enough time to get the castle. You can see I've gone to the castle. I'm building crossbows. I'm adding in. I've added in some stables. Now, one thing. You can see that my HRE opponent has already built researched heavy maces. So you don't really want to build knights against HRE, against heavy maces men-at-arms. So you can see I'm not really going to build that many knights. I'm going to build horsemen instead. But a lot of HRE players don't do that. If they see just spearmen, and then going to assume you go crossbowmen to counter the men-at-arms, they won't research heavy maces. So in those cases, build knights. You want to force them to research heavy maces because again, that upgrade slows down their Swabia. Now we're just moving our spears. Now that we're in castle, we don't need to be as aggressive. We can just push with our defense of our spears, make sure we grab our relics so the HRE can't grab them later on. One mistake I make is I do let the HRE wall off all these crossings. Honestly, I should have walled off these crossings a little earlier. Okay, so now you can see HRE's hit Swabia, but we've done our job. We have delayed them by a lot. And as long as we've managed to hit castle before they hit Imperial, I'd say that we've done our job. Let's look at villager counts. We've got 89 villagers, they've got 53. We have a massive lead, and because they only have 3 relics, we have the economic advantage. Now, just because they hit Swabia doesn't mean you gotta stop being aggressive. You have to keep on pushing. Even now, if you let HRE just boom up wildly, they can kill you because the HRE boom is very powerful once they get Swabia. So we're gonna be aggressive with our spears and crossbows. We're gonna force them to make units. We're not gonna let them get like all their Imperial upgrades and build up their siege ball for free. So you can see I'm going spearmen, crossbowmen, horsemen. And once we've gotten a bit more massive horsemen, we're gonna harass. But most importantly, we're gonna be aggressive. Be aggressive. We started to get mangonels up. That's why we have to be aggressive. We can't let them build a siege mass up before we hit Imperial ourselves. So, go like this. And also, this is what the horsemen are good for. The horsemen are going to be good for sniping these mangonels in small numbers. Oh, okay, you can see I don't have the best micro. I think I take some pretty heavy mangonel hits right there. But the important thing is we won't be aggressive. And you can see we sent horsemen along into this Swabia, into his Swabia woodline to kill some villagers. We're killing army, which is great. We're trading out. We're being aggressive while we're building up our villager count and while we're taking advantage of our economic advantage. It's alright to take suboptimal trades here. Like, as long as you be aggressive and don't let the HRE freely build. You can see now we've massed up a lot of horsemen. So these horsemen are going to go harass the Swabia woodline because we've located Swabia and we know there are a ton of villagers here. While my remaining army is going to put pressure on the front and again, force them to be aggressive. So yep, we've sent the villagers in, hopefully that distracts them. Yet they pull the army back. I should be being aggressive with this center army, but you know, I'm not. I'm not perfect. I should be attacking with this center army as well. But you can see we're killing villagers. Even though they're Swabia, these villager kills still matter. The more you slow the HRE down, the better it is for you. Again, some very good villager kills. Alright, we are now going up to Imperial, and we've taken basically 0 economic damage. Like, this is amazing. This is exactly what you want as China. So, let's see, villager count, 122 villagers. To the opponents, 84. And again, we have 3 relics, 300 passive gold per minute versus their 600 passive gold per minute. So we definitely still have the economic advantage. Like you can see in the income tab. Like, look at this. We're even making more gold than them. Thanks to the Imperial official and thanks to our villager advantage. Alright, so, you've done all this, you've been great, you've been aggressive, you managed to deny some of the relics from the HRE, and now you've hit Imperial. What do you go for? Well, what I like to go for are spears, horsemen, jugnu, and hand cannons. Like I said in my previous video, I really like Imperial jugnu with flaming arrows. You can see I'm still keep on building some crossbows. Like as long as I see men-at-arms, the crossbows are good. Especially since I don't really want to build hand cannons right now. But you can see I upgrade my horsemen. I should be upgrading my spearmen at some point. I find this fishing, I kill it. We also just sent a band of horsemen again up here to try and kill some villagers to slow them down a bit. And we are adding an Imperial Juke, and we are adding in some Jubilee. Mainly to trigger the Spirit Way effect, but also because I really like Jubilee. Okay, so, as soon as we have the room to, since I see that he's being defensive, we can go for Grand Dynasty. And that's because both the passive speed bonus and the Fire Lancers are really, really good. The passive bonus boosts your entire economy. Your villagers move faster. Once you go for traders, they move faster. And of course, it means your army is a lot more maneuverable. And the Fire Lancers are the key to defeating HRE siege advantage. If you go for a full siege ball, like the China of old, like if you go for a bunch of clock tower bombards and springles, you will die to HRE culverins and men-at-arms. Like the HRE has siege advantage. So instead, we're going to rely on mainly Fire Lancers for our siege, to fight siege. And once the HRE siege is dead, then we can start building our own siege. These are horsemen. They have the Yuan Dynasty boost. You can see that they're going around trying to do some villager damage. You can see that they can run faster than the HRE horsemen because of Yuan Dynasty. Meanwhile, being aggressive our main army, okay, randomly attacking in placement's not the best. Honestly, I could have brought that down with the trebuchet actually, but I want to find villager kills. And you see here, I'm running those horsemen, distracting him with those villagers. Oh, yeah, I moved this way because I want to stop him from still walling off this section. For getting university upgrades, I generally prioritize incendiary arrows as the first university upgrade. That is your ranged upgrade. And then I get biology, which is the cavalry HP upgrade. Since your primary tools for fighting HRE are going to be ranged units and cavalry. Again, we're fighting here. You can see we're slowly adding some hand cannons in. Okay, time for our first big engagement. He's mainly got horsemen, men-at-arms. So, one mistake I had is I don't have quite enough spears. I wasn't expecting this many horsemen. So what would have made this good if I had built more spears? That would have been really nice for the army. Still, we're not doing terrible, especially with reinforcements. Like, we're trading alright. And again, you can afford to take less than optimal trades because you have the economic advantage. Again, you really want to focus these mangonels down. The mangonels are the key. You can see the Fire Lancers coming off the flank with that Yuan Dynasty boost. Killing the Springald. They dive the Bombard, and then I think they die, but they've done their job. They traded cost effectively. And you can see our reinforcements are coming. Now this is a little silly of me. I accidentally wall off my own army here. Now, you may be wondering, but Defender, like, the HRE is still fine. Now they've built up their economy, and they still have to pass the Ragnitz bonus gold. But here's the thing. The Chinese army, with Yuan Dynasty, with Fire Lancers, with hand cannons, is still stronger than the HRE army. The difficulty is just reaching it, and being able to fight on an equal level. So that's what we're doing here. Like, we're slowly going to gain the army advantage. You can see I do a cute trick of the hand cannons on walls here. I send an army off to defend against these attacking units. Fire Lancers just snipe siege, and then they're going to run past to go find villagers to kill. Again, using that Yuan Dynasty speed bonus, they're really great. We've got Jugunu, we've got hand cannons, still got a couple crossbows. We got Fire Lancers in here. We've got the effect, and we've got reinforcements ready to defend this as well. Again, we kill some villagers. Even with Swabia, these villager kills matter. Okay, let's keep on going. We clean this up, and so we can start putting on even more aggression now. You can see that because this is Mongolian Heights, I start controlling. Oh, here's something. On a lot of maps nowadays, trade is possible in the late game, and versus HRE, games can go long enough to start trade. So you can see that I'm actually setting up my market super early. Like, I still have like 1 gold mine, 2 small gold mines left I haven't touched, but it's really important to at least prepare to trade very early. Okay, army fight, you can see. These Fire Lancers are great. They bring down the bombards and trade really cost effectively, and then my ranged ball was able to take care of the rest. Let's gonna keep on rallying. Oh yeah, you can see here once again we are finally getting a my full farm set. I was a little slow on it this game because we were so busy. But getting this full farm setup is pretty important. Again, I like this farm setup with your granaries the most. It gets all your granaries within Imperial Academy range. See, we're banking a lot of resources, a lot of stone. And I like to bank stone because I will throw down keeps when I feel like I have the advantage. But I'm also banking a ton of gold. But this gold is good when we need to start building traders. You can see we're building that forward keep here to defend the forward position. Oh yeah, you can see here that my hand cannons just killed the mangonels. And Chinese hand cannons with their range bonus can do that relatively effectively. Again, I should be building siege, but the reason I'm not yet is because I still don't feel comfortable enough. I still feel that if we build siege, that could be a way to throw the game. So that's why you can see like this keep and this outpost are still keeping us back. And I mean, Fire Lances can serve as pretty good siege. Oh yeah, you can see I just used the Imperial Palace's ability to spot these villagers, and now I can send hand cannons to kill these villagers, and I'm sending my own villagers to plop down a keep on this gold. Like you can see, the HRE is literally not mining any gold. They're only getting passive gold from the relics. So denying this gold is actually really nice for me. The Fire Lancers kill a bunch of villagers, kill some more siege, they do a great job, and they buy time for this keep to going up. Meanwhile, we're rotating our hand cannon core over to defend this keep, make sure it goes up. And you know, this is a little risky. I only have 4 villagers building this keep, so if he had targeted these villagers a bit better, the keep would have gone down, but it doesn't. And I do have boiling oil already. Okay, the keep does go down, and those villagers do die. But we got a couple splats of boiling oil on there, and it took a lot of concentration. Okay, so you see, I finally built villagers, and I'm starting to build knights instead of Fire Lancers. And the reason I can afford to do that is because I've started trade. Once you start to trade, like, trade makes you so much gold once it's in. You can see I have 14 traders on, and I still have a bunch of wood and gold to spend. That's the economic power of the Chinese if you can get to this scenario. So now we start trade, we can start switching out our Fire Lancers for knights. And the knights are going to be a lot more effective in direct fights than the Fire Lancers are. And we get this keep up, and we have our since we've killed a bunch of his siege, so he has no springalds, he has no culverts. And look at that. I didn't realize he actually quit this early, but he just GG's after we wiped this army, and the knights coming in and the bombards are rolling in. We just overwhelmed them with the power of the Chinese economy and the late game Chinese units. So, I hope that was pretty insightful on how to play this matchup. This is probably like one of the best games of, like best games of China versus HRE I've played recently. Besides the early horsemen, this was pretty typical HRE behavior, building early knights, and then the spears forced them to switch into men-at-arms. Okay, I want to end this video off by showing you guys another match. This one I also played recently. Oh. This one we are offline. Hold on, guys. Unpause. Alright guys, sorry, my internet broke out. We might edit that out in post-production, but welcome back to the video. This is another game of China versus HRE that I played, and I just quickly want to go through this because in this game I didn't do the build as well as I could have, and things sort of go wrong, but I still win and it still works. This is versus Le Grand Mughal, which if you can see here, is also a pretty high player. He was Conqueror 1 last season. Again, he's Diamond 1 now, but oh my, he may have gone a little bit of a loss streak here. But he was Diamond 3 when I fought him. So he's also a pretty decent player. And this game is going to showcase what happens when the build goes wrong. Okay, let's jump into the game. Alright, so I'm going to speed through the beginning of this because I do the exact same build that I did in the previous game. and in the previous video, so you guys can all see that. Let's speed it times 8. Okay, so here comes the first mistake. And the first big mistake is this goes up. The Barbican goes up too slow. You can see he's able to grab this relic, which is pretty bad for us. I mean, we do kill this prelate, but he gets the relic later. This is this mistake happened because we basically didn't anticipate that early horseman. My spears were a little late, and so my villagers had to fight the horseman. In those couple seconds of fighting the horseman was enough time for this prelate to grab the relic before the Barbican finished. That's a pretty big mistake. You can see I sent a villager to try to build an outpost here to try and defend this relic, but it doesn't go up. It's like pretty bad. What we do here is that, as I said, you wall off the relic closest to your base. So this relic, closest to my base, I wall it off. So at the very least, this relic is secure. And then, how I recover from this mistake is that I wall off this relic. You can see the walls are going up right here. And luckily they go up. I also try walling off this relic because, you know, these two are sort of equidistant, but this wall doesn't go up in time. This does. So we are still able to deny 2 relics on them. The HRE only gets 3 relics, and that's all you need. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, he even takes this my villager here, which is sad. Oh, you can see here the walls goes up just in time. Like, he grabs the relic, but the walls finish in time and the prelate is trapped. Oh, also you can see I'm a little messy here. Like, I lose some of the forward villagers. That's alright. You can see, once again, we're forcing the HRE to build units. Like, this one is building Lanchneck and additional prelates. And he's building a ton of knights. Again, this is exactly what we want. We want him to delay Swabia. And so, you see these Lanchnecks. I haven't really seen the Lanchnecks yet. Or, have I? I don't think I have. Oh, no, I have, actually. So you can see my instant response is to actually stay in Feudal and build Jugunu. Because Jugunu, even in Feudal, counter Lanchnecks. So if they go like toward this Knight Lanchneck Prelate build, and also Jugunu are great at killing Prelates too. So they go for this Knight Lanchneck Jugunu, Prelate thing, you go Spear Jugunu. It's alright to stay in Feudal. Like I said, it's alright to stay in Feudal. Also, you can see I'm mining a ton of wood. I should be putting all this into farms, but I might be messing up a little bit of my wood count a little here. So yeah. Again, we've actually managed to secure this relic and this relic. So again, the HRE only has 3 relics, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, he comes in, kills some villagers. Luckily, we have gotten textiles at this point, so we don't lose too many. And we have our villagers. We'll save our villages for easy garrisoning. And you can see, my Jugunu are focusing down the Lanchnecks and the Prelates. That's important. We don't want the Jugunu to hit the Knights. The Spears are going to kill the Knights. And yeah, we drive him off with the aid of TC Fire. Again, the fact that he's being... I love the fact that he's being so aggressive with his army. That he's building so much army. Because it means he's not going to Imperial. He's not building Swabia. We are on 2 TC Song, and we are just out-booming him so hard as long as he doesn't have Swabia. So, this game basically goes. He comes in for repeated aggression. I do lose villagers every time, but I don't lose too many, thanks to the garrisoning. And thanks to easy army control, I kill his army every time. I kill the Lanchnecks, I kill the Prelates. Those are both very expensive units to lose. And so we keep on forcing to build new army and delay Swabia even more. The important thing here is to not take too much villager damage. Like, let's look at villager count. We have 83 villagers. He has 50. Again, this is fine. But you do want to protect some of your villagers, and that's why like textiles and walls and garrisoning your villagers are so important. Like, the couple villager losses here are alright, especially since we're killing the knights, but you really don't want to take any more than this. If you take a bunch of villager losses, the build won't work. I'll say that. And you can see, now we've been trading well enough and our economy is good enough that we can go up the castle now. Which is pretty great. You can see we pull over to this wood line so I can chop trees for this last granary. And now we've hit castle, and he's still in castle, and he doesn't have Swabia, and he doesn't have Tumen, and he has a lot less villagers than us. Alright, so this is the last real fight. This is a little bit dangerous because he's finally added men-at-arms in, and I've just hit castle, so I don't have my crossbow numbers. You can see here that I'm chronoing out as many X crossbows as possible. We do take some villager damage here. Like I said, this game isn't perfect, but again, we do pretty well. Now we add in our stables and the rest of our production. Again, this is why wood is so important. You need this additional production. This final knight goes down. This villager lives on 3 HP. Comes again. Gets a couple charges off. Kills like 2 villagers. Again, we garrison. Again, we're trying to focus prelates and the Landsknecht with our range units, while the spears and the crossbows take care of the knights. And now we're trading really well. Like, we've gotten our castle upgrades. He is hard stuck in castle. Look at it. He has no food. He doesn't even have the gold to get up to Imperial. And now we have 92 villagers versus his 61. And he only has 3 relics. So like I said, this is amazing for us. Now that we're up in castle. And as you can see, as my upgrades come in, as I keep on building more units, as I add knights, our army is slowly going to start to overwhelm theirs. Like this, I think this is the last army fight like that I actually lose, and that's because I'm being aggressive here. Like, I didn't see these knights at first. So yeah, and I don't control my spears the best, and I really should pull back to the Barbican a little faster. So yeah, we do lose this one engagement, and this is fine. Like, we're still, our income is still so much higher than his. One last time, we do the garrison, and build up the army at home. Spears and crossbows now, which is pretty good, which is basically counters exactly what he has. And I see he's building Landsknechts again. Now, we could build some Jugunu, and I think I do build some Jugunu again, but now, against the Landsknechts, we have Knights, and the Knights will also help us against this Mangonel. Ooh, I think a pretty bad Mangonel hit there. Yep. Yeah, we take some pretty bad Mangonel hits, so I do lose this army engagement, but again, we are slowly going to overwhelm them with the power of the Chinese economy, with the fact that he's not in Swabia. Like, once again, we've successfully baited our HRE opponent to stay in castle. The fact that they're not in Imperial or not only on one town center is amazing for us. And this is exactly what you want. You want to be a master baiter as China versus HRE. This is some amazing baiting right now. Truly, some master baiting. Oh yeah, you can see I'm building these knights because he still hasn't researched heavy maces, and I think he might forget to research heavy maces, or he might feel like it's not worth it. But as long as he doesn't research heavy maces, our knights are amazing. They counter the men-at-arms and they counter the Landsknecht, and of course they can fight the enemy knights hand to hand, and they can dive the Mangonels. So make sure you use your lancers very well. And you can see the replay's about to end. I think this might be the last fight. Like, he surrenders after this. We kill the prelates, we kill the knights, we kill the Landsknechts, we kill the Mangonels, and he has nothing. But you can see here, we're literally almost to Imperial. He's still pretty far off. Like, all we need to do is stop making units for a second, and we'll be up to Imperial. You can see how much we have on food as well, because we're committing so hard to Castle Age play without siege. Now, does he surrender before we start Imperial? I sort of forget. Let's see. He does. That's amazing. Okay, so I hope those two games are pretty enlightening on how to play China versus HRE. Like I said, I'm not saying my approach is the all-around best approach. I'm sure that at the pro level, there are some different factors. Beastie might see this video and mock it for being stupid, but I think that on the ladder at least, this is a great approach to take when fighting HRE. Again, let's review. Do the 2TC song build. Put the Barbican on the forward relic, like a relic in the center of the map. Send those villagers to take the board. At the same time, wall off the closest relic to your base. Then, stay in feudal. Build spears. Be aggressive with those spears. If he builds men-at-arms, rush castle. If he builds Lanchnecks, build Jugnu. Your goal is to force him to build a lot of army in castle, and to keep him off Swabia as long as possible. And the better you do that, the better the Chinese economy will show its strength. If the game makes into Imperial, go for hand cannons, go for fire lancers, go for spearmen, and go for Yuan Dynasty, and you will eventually win out. The Chinese army will eventually overpower the HRE army. Again, thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a super long video. I don't think future Civ matchup videos are going to be this long because this HRE matchup is very detailed. If you guys are liking the content, be sure to leave a comment. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment or come to my Twitch channel, which I'll be linking in the description below. Great place, lots of China games. You can see me play versus HRE live. You can see me lose versus HRE live because yes, I still do lose versus HRE sometimes. Yeah. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a comment letting me know. Like, I'm putting these two videos out as an experiment to see if I want to do more of these Civ guide, these China guide content. Like, if maybe my next video will be China versus French or something. So yeah, alrighty then. Again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Hail China, hail the Emperor. 万岁万岁万万岁